Good morning, Sands. It's Scott Mattis, your manager, coming to you with an update for this month. I know it's been a while, and I apologize, but we were really busy preparing for the new season. Today is the last day of September, and tomorrow begins the first day of October, and technically our season starts tomorrow. So we're really busy getting things ready for you. Those of you that are coming back in October. Uh, some announcements. The golf course will be closed starting tomorrow, October 1st, through the end of October. If weather permits, we should be back open on November 1st. It's our overseeding time. If you're here, you'll see that the grass is brown, and that's normal. The Bermuda gets dormant, and then we plant the rye. And I made the announcement via email that Tim Bench was hired as our new golf course supervisor. He comes with over 20 years of experience on the golf course, and he took over for Jose, who moved on to a bigger course. With that said, we also hired a new maintenance person in golf. We lost Jimenez, who moved on also, and Jeremy will be starting tomorrow at October 1st. So welcome them if you see them. In activities, Cheryl Montanelli, as we made the announcement, has taken over activities, and she'll be the activities director. You can make appointments with her via email or give us a call, and she does have a voicemail here. And the groups will be able to meet with her and talk about their projects and what they're doing over the season, and make sure that they're covered on the calendar for their group events. Same with individuals. If you have events that you're going to happen to have, please make sure that Cheryl Montanelli's in the loop so that it can get on our calendar. Some of the things that we had last year, which was some growing pains, was trying to make sure everybody's had room to do their events and make sure that their events were on the calendar. So any common space here, you must schedule with Cheryl if you're going to be using it over a certain period of time for your groups. And we want to make sure everybody's accommodated. So that's the reason for that. Anyone wanted to put anything on bulletin boards, please see also Cheryl Montanelli. She'll have somebody assigned to herself to make sure that the bulletin boards are kept clean. And for those of you, the golf clubs and the hiking group, you've assigned your own bulletin boards, so it's your responsibility. But for the general bulletin boards here, we want to make sure they're clean. A lot of talk about our sales license. So it took Sun about a year, and we finally processed all the paperwork that's needed through the DMV in the county of Riverside to have our sales license activated here at the Sands. Any day now, we're waiting for the license number to come through, and we'll be doing sales again, new and brokered sales. So if you have a unit that you'd like us to sell, think about it, and we should be able to do that for you sometime in October. Rangers, John Montanelli actually took over as the supervisor for the Rangers this year, and he'll be working with them. We have a handful of Rangers coming on in October, and they'll be helping out with parking units. If you're coming in, if you want to give us a call and let us know you're going to be here, we can help you park your unit. And they'll be helping with the golf course and some other and cross-staffing with activities and make sure that the events go well. So we're really excited. A lot of growing pains last year with the new company and figuring things out, but we believe we have a good plan this year. We had a full off season, and so between activities and staffing, I think we've got a great crew, and we're going to be able to make this year a lot better than last year due to all the construction. There'll be some minor site upgrades that are finishing up in October, but all our contractors will be out of the Sands RV and Golf Resort by the end of October so that we can enjoy the season and just focus on the needs of our community. Maintenance. If you have a maintenance request, please call the front desk and or stop by and say hi, and there is a work order that has to be filled out. This is per your rules and regulations. Please do not stop our maintenance staff and ask them to do anything that is against rules and regulations. This has happened quite a bit last season where people would stop and say, hey, can you just do this for me? Our maintenance staff is very small and very busy. So with that said, I have to keep them on track to make sure that everybody's treated fairly. So when you stop them and you confront them and ask them to do stuff for you, it's not part of the plan that we have here to make sure that things run smoothly. Plus, we have a new electronic system which goes to our main office to help focus on capital expenditures in the future, such as if we get multiple complaints of lighting being out and we have to continue to replace bulbs or wires or such things like that, it justifies a capital expenditure in the future, and that's tracked by our main office. So if you can, please put in your work orders. Last year, we did not have an electronic work order system, so a lot of paper running around. we'll fill out a piece of paper here. It'll go to Victoria. Victoria then logs it in the computer, and it generates a work order to our maintenance staff, which then has to follow up and be closed out. So it's much more. There's much more checks and balances when it comes to our work orders this time. Your rules and regulations, most of you have filled them out and sent them back. If you haven't, please do so as soon as possible. It is your responsibility once they're changed and you're notified that you must sign your rules and regulations if you're an annual resident. These rules and regulations are available to non-annual residents also and must be followed by them when you sign your contract with us, meaning that you stay with us and you put your deposit down, you sign for your stay here that you will follow all rules and regulations. Now, I understand there's some rules and regulations that don't make a lot of sense. People have built sheds in front of their property and not put them in the back of their property. People have added on to their homes and not done the correct electrical work or plumbing or added an enclosure in which is not permitted. I understand those things, and the last thing the Sun or the Sands RV Resort wants to do is come in and tell you to move that or change that. Those are logical things that we're not going to enforce because they've been here so long. But in the future, if you are to put a shed on there or other things, you are to abide by the rules and regulations that you sign. Rules and regulations are to protect you and the company here to make sure that everybody follows those. The last thing we want to do is have someone feel that they can do what they choose to do without following those, and other people have to be follow those rules. So it's just not it's a fair process. Placement agreements. If you signed a placement agreement, once your placement, your year or your 2 years is up, depending on how long you signed for, you go to month to month. This means basically that you'll continue the rate at the rate of an annual for your placement agreement. Once you choose to void your contract and move on, if it's a RV spot and you're taking your RV with you, you'll have to go back and pay the rates for those months that you stayed. So, for example, October 1st starts the new year, and the rates will go up, and you'll pay that rate. If after 3 or 6 months you decide that you're not going to stay and you're going to leave, you'll then be calculated at the 3-month rate or the 6-month rate or however long you stayed, and you'll pay the difference and or be credited depending on how long you stayed. The annual rate is a discounted rate for residents to stay a full year. It's not a rate that you can get and then leave whenever you choose to. You're under contract for that. If you have other questions about that and want to talk more in depth about it, I'm in my office. I can do that with you. Victoria also will be available to do that with you also. Excuse me. A couple of reminders. It is our season and people will be bringing their pets back. We have 3 dog parks and a lot of people like to have their dogs run. And again, if you're going to have your pet inside the park, it must be friendly enough to be able to be with other pets, and must be friendly enough to also be with other residents. You're not allowed to let your dog run without a leash, and you're not allowed to use the washes, the islands, or anything else as a dog park for their waste. If your dog obviously has an accident or needs to go right away, we hold you responsible to make sure that it's cleaned up. If you continue to not have your dog on a leash or allow your dog to use facilities not in the dog parks, then we will violate you appropriately. So please remember that's part of the rules and regulations that you sign, whether you have pets or not, that you must adhere to the pet rules. Our mailroom's complete, and I hope that you find it a little more easy to use. Your mailboxes have been moved around a little bit, but we did add lockers. So you might find a key in your locker, which will then open that locker and you'll have a package. Please leave the key in the locker so that we can utilize that locker again. This is just an easier way for us to get packages to you, especially those that don't come in during business hours. We only have so many lockers, so I'm sure that we'll run out of locker space, but we'll be utilizing the lockers for the individuals that we know that don't come in during the day and want to be able to get their packages during the night or their overflow mail. When you come here and you want to see how the process works, please ask one of our guest services coordinators, and they'll be happy to walk you through the process. Our laundry room is fully renovated. It's a little bigger than it was before, so hopefully you'll find the space in there nicer. Brand new machines. Most of them are you use your card, and this is something that most laundromats are getting away from. Again, we want to make it very clear, and Sun wants to make it very clear. This is a third-party vendor. We contract with them. Some people have some strong opinions about who the contractor is, but we were pretty much, our hands were tied on who we use. We do feel the machines are working well. We have had a couple of incidents where people said the machines did not work. We ran our cards through them and they worked just fine. There are still some coin machines that you can use. So that we hope that the facility is nicer. It is air conditioning, and you'll find it a nice upgrade to the facilities here. Spas and pool. When you do use the spas and pools, it is your responsibility to wash yourself off before you get into those locations. We did have an incident in our small spa where there was some foreign material. It was in there. It stained the plaster, and we've had to acid wash it multiple times, which we can't anymore without causing it to make the plaster rough, and it's caused staining. So with that said, we do believe it was some sort of organic material that came in off of a body, meaning either tanning oils or toner or some sort of stuff that somebody was wearing that went into the hot tub and it rubbed off. And it did cause a lot of problems with our filtering system. But either way, it is cleaned up for the most part, and it looks nice, and the spas are ready for you when you get here. Just a reminder to make sure you take a shower before using those spas. And lastly, you'll find a bunch of our loungers and our chairs stacked up. You may use them if you choose to, but on the 14th through 16th, the warranty company will be here to replace the vinyl strapping. We had over 6 resorts that had ordered these types of chairs, and it looked like it was a malfunction or a manufactured issue on the reasons that the strapping went brown. And so our company went out to the warranty company, and they've actually come back to repair them. They'll be here on the 14th through the 16th to repair all the loungers and the chairs. So you will see them working out there if you are here. It'll take them a couple of days to get that done. With that said, my office is always open. Again, we appreciate all of you and look forward to seeing you. Travel safe, because I know a lot of you will be driving down here soon. The weather's been pretty good, a little breezy the last couple of days, but the forecast over the next week or so looks like it's going to be in the 70s and 80s, so the weather's perfect for you. And we're looking forward to a wonderful season and more announcements to come in the future on our new staffing that's coming in with work campers and stuff. So with that said, if you have any questions, please give me a call or stop by the office. Talk to you soon.